Welcome, Gothic Hippie Weirdos. Today, you will be helping me get ready for work while talking about the Toolbox Killers. Please, if you like makeup and you like spooky things like I do, then let's become friends. Subscribe to my channel, like, and all of that fun stuff. And don't worry, I am going to list all of the products in the description. I'm not going to name them all while I tell the story because I don't want to interrupt the true story here. In this case, there were two men. It was Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris. Fair warning, this story is pretty sick. I'm gonna kind of keep it short and light and not go into super details. I am new at this storytelling stuff, so sooner or later I do plan on being more advanced and more detailed. This is a lot of research. Anyway, I'm getting off subject. Here we go. So what they were working with here: Murder Mac, a van, a toolbox full of torture, and two men whose only bond was sadism. The Toolbox Killers didn't just kill, they wanted to record and remember every sick scream. Such sickos. So gross. So Lawrence Bittaker was actually really brilliant. A recorded IQ of 138. That's high, guys. Adopted, quiet, and cold. Roy Norris was volatile with a long history of sexual assaults and mental illness stints. The two met in 1977 in a California state prison. By 1979, they were free and had bonded over one thing: their shared desire to kidnap, rape, torture, and kill teenage girls. They bought a silver GMC cargo van with no windows in the back, and they called it Murder Mac. They set a goal of killing one teenage girl for every teenage year, so from the ages 13 and 19, one for each one of those years. Disgusting. What a goal, right? Goals. All right, now this is the hard part for me as the storyteller here of this true crime, is naming off these victims and kind of what happened to them. It's different watching it on TV, reading it in a magazine, reading it in a book, like watching it on a YouTube, is to say it out loud to you guys, because yeah. All right. Anyway, here we go. So Lucinda Schaefer, 16 years old. So sad. She was abducted while she was just walking home from church. Doing some good, like going to church and just being a good girl. She did resist, so they gagged her and then they raped her. Bittaker had strangled her while Norris held her down, and then they dumped her body off in a mountain cliff. Andrea Hall, 18 years old, hitchhiking, which used to kind of be the normal thing in the 70s, guys, so you can't judge. Yeah, now we know that this stuff is bad, but all of this bad stuff had to happen for us to learn, okay? That's why we know now. Yes, I know hitchhiking is bad. Like, I get it. It's very dangerous, but they didn't know that in the 70s. Like, hitchhiking was a very normal thing to do. I mean, your family did it too, I'm very sure. Like, it was like very trusting, and now we know that we can't trust. Like, we've learned through time, and because of these horrible things that have happened, we have learned. So don't judge too much. This was normal back then. That's like us taking a Lyft or an Uber now. Like, maybe in, I don't even want to say, like, I don't want to, but like 40 or 50 years from now, maybe like a bunch of crazy stuff with Uber and Lyft's happening and we don't even know it. You don't know. But I think Andrea's gut instinct kind of popped in because she was cautious and she didn't get in right away. Bittaker, being the psychopath that he is, tricked her by hiding Norris in the back. Once inside, she was grabbed and bound. The sickos made her pose for Polaroids. And then an even sicker thing, they killed her with an ice pick to her ear. Jackie Gilliam, 15, and Lisa Lamp, 13. So young. These girls are so young. So, I just can't, like, it's just so hard to think about. It's so hard to grasp that these, men, like these monsters, would do such a thing to such young girls. I mean, or to any women at all for that matter, or anybody, or any animal, or anything. They were abducted together from a park. Poor babies were held for 2 days, reportedly raped, beaten, and tortured with screwdrivers and pliers. Norris bludgeoned Jackie with a sledgehammer. Both were strangled and tossed down a ravine. Shirley Ledford was 16. She was the final known victim. Halloween night in 1979, Shirley was trying to get home from a party. They picked her up, pretending to give her a ride, and the next thing they did was truly unspeakable. But they recorded it on cassette tape. The audio tape of Shirley's torture was so absolutely horrific that the FBI agents who heard the cassette tape just broke down and cried. Like some of them puked. Like, it was really bad. She was raped, beaten with a hammer, and forced to scream on command, and then finally strangled with a coat hanger. Roy Norris, the ever weaker link, he bragged about the murders to a former prison buddy, this guy, and that man went straight to the police. Good going, man. Investigators quickly arrested Norris and shortly later, Bittaker. Norris confessed everything. He even drew maps to where the bodies were dumped. And then police searched Bittaker's apartment, and this is what they found inside. Photos of some of the girls, the murder van, blood-stained tools, and that god-awful cassette tape with Shirley's terrifying screams on it. Her final screams. So sad. Well, Norris made a deal, life in prison, in exchange for testifying against Bittaker. Bittaker showed no remorse. He laughed in court. He said the tape was funny. The tape was funny. What a freaking sicko. Seriously, like, if you were these girls, like, parents sitting there, like, you would just want to jump up and just strangle them yourself, right? Like, that's how I would feel like, or even worse than what they did with their toolboxes. Sorry, I'm calm now. He was sentenced to death in 1981. Quote, "I feel no guilt for what I have done. I guess I just like to hear women scream." End quote. Yeah, I think we already knew that, Lawrence. Thanks, though. Psh, Captain Obvious. Bittaker died of natural causes in 2019, still on death row. He escaped, and Norris died in prison in 2020, a year later. The case is still studied today as a warning about psychopathy, manipulation, and extreme cruelty. The toolbox they used, filled with mundane hardware that you can buy in a store, became symbols of horror. They weren't monsters in masks. They were men in plain sight. They looked like neighbors, as most of these serial killers do. Be careful. Be careful of everyone around you, Okay? And that's what makes it so terrifying. I'm not saying to go out there and be scared of life or whatnot, but be very cautious. Be very cautious. Go places with people. Like, if you're going on first dates, go very public places and, just be safe. The Toolbox Killers left behind no survivors, only grief, fear, and a cassette tape that still haunts all who have heard it. And people that just know about it. I'm haunted by it too, and I haven't heard it, and I don't want to hear it. Evil doesn't always come with masks or fangs. Sometimes it drives a silver van. Thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you loved it, and I hope you subscribe, and I hope the lighting's better than my last video. I think I fixed it. So please give me a like, comment down below what you think about the story. I would really love to hear. Like, I know there's so many versions out there, documentaries, stories, like all kinds of things. So if there's some like extra tidbits, like throw them in the comments because I want to see them. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay weird.